Thanks everyone for bearing with us. So welcome everyone to the first Realestate.com.kh Industry Leaders webinar series. We'll run this every week on Friday at 3 o'clock during coronavirus, and we'll eventually move it to a monthly thing. But Realestate.com.kh at the moment are running multiple live streams in Mann and Chinese languages every week and publishing them through our channels. But there's been pretty strong demand from English-speaking property seekers, investors, developers, agents, and other people that are generally involved or interested in the Cambodia real estate market. So we didn't want to leave it too much longer to launch this series. I'm really happy to be here launching it today. The intention of this series is to speak to the leaders in the Cambodia real estate industry and provide updates, trends and insights on the Cambodia real estate market in general, but the market amid sort of coronavirus. So over the next few weeks, we'll get on a lot more leading real estate agents, property developers, economists, bankers, lawyers and more, keeping everyone in the world updated on what's happening in the Cambodia real estate market. This is our first English live stream and webinar that we're doing to the public, and we're also live on Facebook and a few other channels. So I do apologise in advance for any more technical issues. I was listening to a podcast last night that we likened live streams to a bit of like background TV at times, which is probably why they're so popular in this day and age. Our panel today. So Chandy Mann is the head of JuwaiIQI Cambodia, who are part of a global real estate firm. They've recently tied up with one of the leading real estate portals out of China, JuwaiIQI.com, we will also hopefully have Mr. Edward Liu join us, who's the general manager of Fung Real Estate Cambodia. Western/Chinese market in Cambodia. And while they're a full service agency, they certainly have a stronghold on parts of the market, including land sales, commercial real estate. At the back end of the webinar, we'll have the first ever sale event that Realestate.com.kh was recently launched, and we'll cross over to Chandy, who's the marketing manager at Realestate.com.kh, to brief us a little bit more about that event. We're super happy to have both JuwaiIQI and Fung Real Estate involved in that event with us. Please certainly ask questions during the webinar as well. We'll try and get to them as much as possible. We certainly won't go past an hour just due to the panelists' time constraints. But the questions will also help shape our future webinars over the next few weeks as well. So please keep your questions coming in, and Cheng Wei on our side will monitor them, and we'll try and get to them towards the end. So we'll kick things off with you, Chandy. Hopefully I introduced you well as you're representing JuwaiIQI, so please add to that introduction. But I'd like to start off by saying, sort of, given IQI is exposed to the global real estate market, how does the current situation in Cambodia due to COVID-19 compared to some of the other markets we've got exposure to in the region? Chandy, did you?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So thank you, Tom, for inviting me to this conference, and I hope that I can share something with the Realestate.com for the situation in Cambodia. And hello, Edward here? I didn't see him. Right?
I'm not sure Edward's here. Let's just kick off with you, and then we'll try and bring Edward in when we're ready to ask him a series of questions.
Okay, yeah. So let me talk about the situation in Cambodia. So Any question you have?
Yeah, so like I guess your Juwai and IQI are obviously in multiple markets globally.
Yeah, yeah,
You're heading up Juwai IQI in Cambodia.
yeah.
Maybe you can kick us off by sort of giving us an overview of how the COVID-19 pandemic has affected the local Cambodian market.
Us, the COVID-19 is spread go around the world, so that we can have pandemics around the world. But us, the market that we slow down, but we still can close deal. We can close a few deal in Cambodia, and then in Vietnam, in Thailand, in Philippines, and in Malaysia, and in Australia, but a bit slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How are those markets? So you mentioned say Vietnam, and I think you mentioned earlier before we jumped on the webinar Malaysia. So how are those markets compared to Australia, compared to Cambodia during this time in terms of performance and sales?
Compared to Cambodia, is the condo market for the Vietnam is better than Cambodia, and then for the Malaysia is better than Cambodia, and for Thailand is better than Cambodia, and Philippines also is better than Cambodia.
And why do you think that is? There's obviously a lot of local groundswell from sort of first home buyers looking to get into the sort of more affordable condo market. Why do you think confidence from buyers is sort of focused on those markets you mentioned rather than Cambodia, sort of amid coronavirus?
I think that we still do online because coronavirus. We cannot work and we cannot invite buyer come to visit or do the presentation in the field. I mean,
Yeah.
in the showroom or things, do something. So we change the way of promote the products through the digital life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've Realestate.com have certainly noticed that the JuwaiIQI Cambodia have been doing a lot of webinars. So how have they been received? You're obviously using the webinars and Zoom as a sales tool at the moment. Can you sort of let us know how they're going and how they're performing?
Now Zoom, I think Zoom is now is a good channel that we reach through the customer, and then we ask them to register, and then we show them the products through the Zoom, and then we discuss with the old customer that we used to sell before, and present our products, because Zoom is easy for present the products. Like we can share the slide, we can share what we take the photo from the field, and then we show them at the slide through the Zoom, and then we can discuss about that with them.
And are you successfully sort of closing deals over Zoom, or are they wanting to end up seeing the site?
Now, last month mostly we close through the Zoom, mean that we close through the online.
Mm-hmm.
We just saw the products through the online.
And are those buyers mostly local buyers, or are they international investors?
Mostly the international investor, mean that the old customer that they used to trust on us, like that.
Yeah, and what markets are they from? Which countries are your main buyers?
The main lease is from China,
Yeah,
Singapore, and Malaysia.
Yeah, so there's still some confidence in the local Cambodian market for international buyers, even amongst this time. Would that be correct?
Yes, correct. Yes, that's correct.
You're also obviously selling to local Cambodians as well. How have they sort of reacted to the coronavirus situation?
For the local market, like local market, they now they not like the foreigner buyer or foreigner investment. They just hold. But a few we can sell, like housing we can sell, land we still can sell. But for the condo, they like they consider more for the local market.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, the question sort of on a lot of people's minds is,
Mm.
let's focus on the condo market. Are you seeing developers sort of offering good deals during this time, or are they really sort of holding their price?
I think this time I can see that the developer they offer the good deal.
Yeah,
I mean that if we are the investment, we should invest this time. They give a lot of deal and a lot of offer
yeah, yeah.
for the buyer. Yeah.
Yeah, we're certainly seeing that as well. Um, what sort of what sort of discounts are you seeing in the market at the moment, from your side, from developers?
I think from my side, like a developer now should change the way of doing the business. Like they should change to digitalize or online or because after the coronavirus, I think maybe everything will be changed.
Right, and that was one of the questions I wanted to get to. Like, you're obviously employing Zoom as a sales tool at the moment, and we're certainly seeing a lot of agencies and developers sort of picking up a lot more of our digital product, certainly during this time. Do you think this is fast tracking both international buyers who are probably more used to digital anyway, but also local buyers? Do you think this is going to change the buying sort of patterns and landscape sort of post and after COVID-19?
Yeah, I think that after the COVID-19, everything changed to the digital platform or and we do online or
Yeah,
and maybe the way of doing business is changed.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So we certainly agree, and yeah, we certainly think that this is fast tracking some of the tech, prop tech related tools. There's certainly bigger uptake from agents and developers, and people, potential buyers seem a lot more confident, sort of almost transacting online, as you mentioned earlier, over Zoom.
mm.
Back to sort of trying to um, give the viewers sort of a guide as to um, when we think sort of the Cambodia real estate market will start to recover in terms of tourism, and the market and the economy in general. Given that Cambodia hasn't had a confirmed case for, I think, over 2 weeks now,
Yeah,
um, and I recently read an article that some flights are going to start to reopen. So when do you think we can sort of start to see an uplift in the market?
I think maybe the everything will be better up to September or the end of this year because us Cambodia now, like you mentioned a moment that the coronavirus is gone already, not more increased with 2 weeks already, but other countries still have. So we wait the other country will going down first, right? For
Yeah,
everything is will be better. So if for we looking for the tourism, we need the tourist from outside, right?
right.
So if the outside country not yet get better, so if we open the fly, I think maybe that we can import more.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, like that. So I think maybe we wait to see the all the world first because now the recovers fast is only China. So other countries still a lot of cases happen.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
given obviously China's a huge player in the Cambodia economy,
yeah.
and given JuwaiIQI's exposure into China, I mean, do you think that um, do you think, given that China is appearing to be one of the fastest markets to recover from coronavirus, how do you think that will impact the Cambodia economy and the local market here?
As you know, China is recover fast now. I think it's good for Cambodia because China is the biggest investor in Cambodia, right? A foreign investor in Cambodia is China. So I think China is a big one, recover fast. So I think this is a good sign for Cambodia. I think maybe for the condo, I think maybe will be better because according to the data from JuwaiIQI, so China, the people in China, the mainland now they start looking back for invest in property in the outside the country. Yep. They start back already. Yeah, I think maybe we can attract some to Cambodia soon.
Yeah, that certainly points to some good news for the local Cambodia market and certainly the condo market here in Cambodia. And I might try and just switch over to Ed and get him sort of get his thoughts on the local market as well. So let me just try and see if I can add Ed into the. What name? What name's going? Single. Hopefully I can add Ed in for his thoughts. Otherwise, we'll move over to, here we go. I might mute you, Chandy, keep you on mute. Ed, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. We can't see you, but that's all right.
You can hear me, cannot see me.
Yes, that's all right. So we're currently, sorry about the frustrations getting into the call. And thanks for being part of the first sort of English webinar sort of industry leaders series. We just spoke to Chandy, obviously, a little bit about the condo market and comparing sort of the Cambodian real estate market and some of the international markets amid coronavirus. We'll try and take a bit of a different angle with you, although you're exposed to many parts of the real estate industry. You do have sort of great interest and exposure to some of the commercial real estate aspects of the market. So how has coronavirus impacted the commercial side of the property market?
Yeah, good afternoon, Tom. Thank you for the invitation. Sorry, a little bit technical issues.
No worries.
But we'll still try to work out the video things, you know. Actually dress up for, you know, wait.
I know. That's all right.
Okay, cool. Yeah. It's been a really big impact for the commercial side. Mm-hmm. As most of our customer or our friends are from overseas, so most of them they rely on foreign customers. So during this impact, either most of foreigner went back home, or they've been very quiet, stay home. So so the impact is quite significant, especially the rental commercial parts.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
The rental for commercial part is very significant.
Yes.
Especially those business owners are focusing on the foreign customers.
Right. And in your experience, what are landlords doing to support their tenants during this period?
Okay, for the past 1 to 2 months, we come across about 20 to 30 landlords. Yeah, we've been helping our tenant to renegotiate the contract or discount during this tough period. some of the, I say 50% of landlord willing to drop down their rental to help up the tenants.
Yeah.
Most of the case we see they're willing to drop down 20 to 30% for the next 2-3 months in Phnom Penh. Yes.
Yeah. That's obviously yeah, it's obviously great that, you know, some of those landlords are sort of, you know, really there to help their tenants, and I'm sure you guys have been pretty busy helping them negotiate with the landlords. So as a business, what sort of how has coronavirus sort of changed your business in terms of what new tools are you using to conduct business now, you know, as opposed to what you may not have been using previously?
Okay. For our business, we used to do lots of face-to-face, more like personal relationship with either landlord or our investors. But during this tough period, we're not able to do face-to-face or physical contact with our investors. So we do a lot of video conference call. We do a lot of phone calls, just update the market situation, just do lots of I'll say preparation for the next coming month.
Yeah. And I mean, a similar question to what I asked Chandy, but do you feel like some of these tools will sort of carry on and be part of sort of the real estate landscape and real estate businesses moving forward? Now that we all seem to be, you know, more than happy to jump on a Zoom call with a potential client, do you think this is sort of going to be something that will remain after the pandemic sort of comes to an end?
Yeah, definitely. But since I'm not a technical person, I'm really bad on it.
Yeah.
There's some tools out there, like my team been working on it and try to adopt in our future business.
Yeah.
But it definitely helping a lot. Like this Zoom, you know, video conference call. You know, to be honest, I never ever used it before, but it's really helped us, you know, during this period.
Yeah. I mean, as a tech company, we're employing more tech-related tools than we ever have before. So, you know, some things I'm even sort of teaching myself as well, even as a tech company. Sort of a separate focus of Fung's obviously a lot of land deals and international and local investors. Another, of course, key question that everyone's probably, you know, certainly wondering about the Cambodia real estate market is, how is this affecting land prices in Cambodia?
Okay. Yes, we do a lot of land deals, and we focus on land investment for our investors most. So I'll put this in two sections. One is more like CBD area, and the other one is more like rural area.
Right.
These days, I'll say in the CBD area, those landlords are holding quite strongly. That surprised me as well. I was expecting the price probably gonna drop 20 to 30% off, but unfortunately, those CBD land owner feel like they have a very strong financial background.
Right.
I think we've been negotiating quite a few deals. I mean, about 3 to 5 deals now. Most of the landlord, they wouldn't drop anything. Max, they drop like 10%, right? But you know, a lot of foreign investors, they're looking for something like 20 to 30% drop.
Right.
Yeah, that's how frustrated me a lot as well. You know.
Yeah.
But we can see a lot of rural area. The land price been dropping, and then I mean, but these days I say a lot of foreign investors more like, hey, there's probably a good time to get into CBD or Phnom Penh instead of outskirts. So these days we see a lot of rural area land been dropping, but we're more focused on CBD area, prime location, you know, landmark, iconic locations.
Yeah, right. So you're seeing more of a consistent sort of, percentage drop in pricing outside of sort of the prime areas, and obviously you're getting some pretty good lead flow from whether they're local investors or international investors. But those buyers are looking for those good deals. Are there some landlords that are sort of producing those good deals, or are they pretty hard to find?
To be honest, we're having trouble to negotiate with the landlord about bargaining price.
Right.
Yeah. Of course, we have some investor looking for something like 20-30% off from the peak, but those landlords holding very strongly. So until now, we're still under negotiation some deals.
And so then, so generally speaking, do you feel like for local Cambodians and international buyers, is it a good time to invest in property in general and landed property, or would you be sort of like trying to get the best deals for the buyers at the moment?
Okay, for this, I'll put in two parts. One is a condo beret part. One is a land deal part. I think we can see quite a few developer, either condo developer or beret developer, they've been dropping the price. I think it's probably a good time for those investors want to buy condo or want to buy beret. But for the land parts, maybe it's good for the rural. But if you want some CBD area, hey, that's a little bit hard still. Right.
Because obviously, comparing sort of Phnom Penh land prices to sort of key investment areas in Vietnam and Thailand, we're often compared to as well as a market. There is a long way to go to reach some of those sort of land prices per square meter. So it somewhat makes sense given that. Given that there is still the emerging middle class in Cambodia that won't go away, it might take a little bit longer to sort of boom again. But but generally speaking, when do you think the market will start to recover? I asked Chandy the same question, but there's I think we've gone 14 days now without a new case of coronavirus, and maybe even more. And I read an article last night saying that they're looking at opening up some international flights, certainly from China again. So there's some good news on the horizon. So to your best guess and knowledge of the current situation here in Cambodia, when do you feel like it'll really start to recover?
As we can see, the domestic market since last week, we can see more traffic on the street. We can hear some restaurant reopening, some business resume as usual. But I feel like domestic market will be recovered very soon. I say 1 to 2 months for the domestic market. But since Cambodian doors still closed, I mean it's hard to get in. I mean, so I reckon once the Cambodian doors open, overseas investors from China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, or even Malaysia or Singapore, they feel like, it's easier for them to travel. It's safe for them to travel. By then will be more like international market, or international investor will coming into Cambodia and will start reinvest again. I reckon it's probably gonna take us 3 to 4 months until fully recovered.
You just cut out there at the end, but I assume you were saying it was going to take sort of 3 to 5 months to sort of get back to where we were maybe before coronavirus.
Yes. Can you hear me? Oh, it's cut off.
It's not fine.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you're back. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Yes, thank you.
All right.
All right. Yep.
So then, thanks for those insights. Maybe we've certainly got some sort of people from overseas listening to this webinar. So just to give you a sort of a bit of a background on generally coronavirus in Cambodia, which is something I probably should have led with. We're seeing in countries like Australia, the UK, parts of Europe, and other parts of Asia certainly having much more stricter lockdowns, and there's really in some of those markets, I'm seeing footage and speaking to my family in Australia about their sort of restrictions at the moment and staying at home policies. Just to I'm sure a lot of people on this webinar are wondering, okay, well, what's it like in Cambodia? Certainly, people are being careful. There's a lot more hand sanitizer, more and more people wearing masks. But I think there was an initial shock, and obviously cases in Cambodia sort of grew to gradually over 100. But then over the last 2 or 3 weeks, between the last 2 and 3 weeks, there hasn't been one single case recorded in Cambodia, and they're certainly testing hundreds a day. And where we as a business are trying to sort of analyse why that may be. Obviously, some of the neighbouring countries have been really good at containing the virus as well, which certainly points to that. Vietnam was commended on a global scale of how they've managed it. Also, Cambodia is certainly a much warmer climate to Australia right now as well, and the virus is said to, I'm not a medical professional, but is said to not thrive as much as it were if we were a colder country. And then Cambodia is also a very young generation, right? So that might also talk to the fact that why we're not seeing as many cases as we probably originally forecasted in Cambodia, which ties back into what you're saying, Ed, and we're certainly seeing it on our website, that the local market, there seems to be this certain confidence that, Cambodia is okay. And there was probably a 2-week period where there was not so many cars on the road, but now, a lot more officers are going back to work full time. Yes, they're employing certain measures to make sure they're practicing social distancing and so on. But our sort of based on our website traffic, for example, we're certainly generating some really healthy numbers of local leads, as well as international leads, and those international leads are certainly looking for those bargains that Ed, you spoke about in land deals. And Chandy, you were speaking about in terms of the condo developers offering some pretty nice discounts at the moment. So I hope that sort of gives international viewers of this webinar sort of a overview of what's happening in Cambodia. Certainly, if I go home tonight at about sort of 5 or 6 o'clock my time, the traffic's almost is returning to what it almost was. I think some ministries and possibly schools are still closed, but I think we're certainly seeing more freedom of people moving around the city, and restaurants seem to be reopening. So yeah, maybe Cambodia has really not escaped the pandemic, because obviously the real estate market depends on international investment and things like that, but certainly the local economy and the local market confidence seems to be returning. So given that we don't see a second wave or an increase in cases through May, I certainly think we'll see at least domestic travel increase and confidence return, and people sort of happy to get back out to Central Market to shop on the weekends, or Aeon Mall, and who knows, we might also see cinemas open quicker than what we probably originally forecasted. So some pretty good insights there from you guys, and thanks a lot for joining us today. Obviously, we also want to talk about the first online Black Friday property sale event that's being launched by Realestate.com.kh of course, as the CEO of Realestate.com, I know that it's something that was always in our pipeline to do. To be honest, we were probably looking to launch it on Singles Day or the actual Black Friday that's later in the year. But given that it was in our tech pipeline, we thought it was the perfect product to bring to the market during the pandemic, where people really, they can't fly into the country, but they are, and some local buyers are not necessarily freely moving around the country. But I've also got our marketing manager, Sheng Wei, here with us today to give us an overview of the Black Friday sales event. So do you mind, Sheng Wei, to turning on your mic now and giving the viewers sort of an overview of the Black Friday property sale and what it is?
Sure, Tom. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we are very excited to launch this first ever online Black Friday property sale in Cambodia, which will take place on Friday, the 12th of June from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. The Black Friday property sale will be the biggest online sales event in Cambodia history, where property seekers can buy their dream home at the best discount prices ever seen. I think this is a very rare investment opportunities, especially for property seekers and their buyers who are interested in Cambodia real estate. I think this event can really help them to find the best home they are looking for.
Great. And so it's on so Friday the June the 12th between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Cambodian time. So how many developers are we sort of looking to have on the event?
Because this is a limited time sale, so we only have 4 hours from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. So we want to select the top real estate developers for our buyers to choose. So they don't have to choose from 100. They can only choose from the selected developers we work with. So we expect to have around 16 to 20. We have this pre-screening process to make sure we deliver the best developers and units to our potential buyers. So they don't have to worry too much, because I know it's hard to decide it on the spot. So we help you with this process. So the developments and the units, we're very confident with, you're gonna find very, very high quality and the best deal you will get. Not maybe once in a lifetime, but definitely in this year or even within the decade. Because I think this is a special time, not only for real estate developers, but also for agents and everyone works in this industry. So I think this is a very rare opportunity, not only for the buyers, but also for us to work together to help shape their industry in a better way.
Right. Yeah. So obviously, as the CEO of Realestate.com, I'm also deeply involved in this event. So the idea is we've gone out and got the best developments on board the event. And sort of had a pre-screening process there and negotiated with them the best possible price available only for those 4 hours. We're obviously working with, as we can see on the screen, like up to 30 and probably more affiliates as well. For the audience, do you mind telling us how it works with sort of, how we're tying this in with agents and media platforms and banks and insurance firms and so on, and how sort of explain their involvement a little bit in the event as well?
Yes. So for the limited time only, and property seekers can grab their best deal of the year from our top developers. And we want to reach as many buyers as possible. So we closely work with agents, law firms, bankers, which can help us expand the audience and to help us get exposure to the right buyers and their investors. So if you are a real estate agent or media partners, we're very happy to work with you to also help your clients to find their home with the best discount prices. So if you're interested to work with us, we're always happy to work with these partners or affiliates to get this property sale event successful.
Yeah, it's almost we're being sensitive to trying to use sensitive terminology, but it's almost sort of, we discussed it a lot in our office, almost like a somewhat of a stimulus thing for the Cambodia real estate economy, to get the best developers on with the best price, and really try and help our partners in terms of developers and real estate agents, other property platforms, media banks, and so on, whilst at the same time, you know, offering some of the best deals in Cambodia real estate, certainly that we've seen sort of recently. And so if there's a buyer interested to join the event, do you want to sort of, how do they go about sort of registering for the event? I'm obviously on the event website now, which is propertysale.realestate.com.kh. So yeah, how does it work for someone that's interested to buy property in the Cambodia real estate market?
Yes, so we have this dedicated Black Friday property sale website. So every potential buyer or interested buyer can just go to this website and to register, and it's 100% free to register. And on that day, we're gonna review the developers and the discounts. So you can, before you register, and on that day of the event, you can just go to the site to scroll the best, you know, the deal you wanna get. Mm-hmm. And you can reserve the unit or the house or property you like with $500, and this is totally refundable if you decide not to pursue this unit afterwards. So you have, it basically is like risk-free, you know, process. You have nothing to lose. It's 100% free to register, and you only need to spend $500 to reserve the unit and the discounted price. And it's totally refundable as well. Right.
Yeah. Fantastic. And so I might try and go back to sort of get Ed's thoughts. So obviously, Ed, Fung Real Estate, you know, we've been friends for a long time and business friends for a long time. And you're obviously sort of getting behind this Black Friday sales event as an affiliate. So what are you looking to sort of offer your buyers, and what are your general thoughts about the Black Friday property sale?
Can you hear me, Tom?
Yes. Yep.
No okay, worries. Cool. Man, I don't know what will come out this Black Friday campaign. Man, very impressive. Man, no wonder you're still the top platform in Cambodia.
It's
man, very impressive.
Thank you very much for the kind sentiments. It's obviously pretty innovative. Yes, Ed, are you still there? We're just having a bit of an issue with Ed's sound.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I've been looking through your developer list. Man, they're all top quality developer.
Yeah, we certainly try and focus on quality the most, you know, for this event as well, you know, going for the best developments and the best price. So yeah, we're really happy to sort of be able to produce an event like this and somewhat help the whole industry and the whole sort of, you know, local Cambodian real estate economy. So yeah, thanks for the kind sentiments, and yeah, we're certainly looking forward to Friday, June the 12th. I might throw back over to Chandy just to get your comments on that Black Friday property sale event. Obviously, we're super happy to have JuwaiIQI Cambodia on board as well. So thanks for coming on board the event and your support for the event. So what are your thoughts on it?
Okay, thank you, Tom. I think a Black Friday is very impressive, like I would say, and then I hope that Black Friday we give more discount like a Black Friday for the item in the small, right? Yeah. I think it's a good chance for the investor.
Yeah,
it's a good chance for the investor, and I just say something a bit like I can't run in tears, but my team can close one deal now. So I think the market is good. It can come back soon. Like I was said, for the local market, will come back soon.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
I agree. And yeah, it's definitely going to be one of the best chances for for everyone to secure some of the best deals in the Cambodian market.
Yeah.
So just in summary, Chandy, I'll get you to mute again.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
So in summary, for people that are watching our live stream on Facebook and sitting in here in the Zoom webinar, so yeah, just as a summary, the Black Friday property sale is an event that you must pre-register to. So definitely visit Realestate.com.kh and register your details. We will next week. Obviously, there's some developer logos on the two slides, on the one slide that we're sort of early releasing with some of the developers that are on the event. As of next week, more of the developers will start appearing on the homepage of the website. But anyone that wants to be part of the event must register prior to the event. We will list all the properties on the event in the next sort of couple of weeks leading up to the 12th of June, but only on the day will we actually reveal the discounts available, which will only be available for those 4 hours as we've previously mentioned. We're being very strict on making sure we're offering buyers the best deal. We've actually said no to some developers that were looking to join the event, but weren't really giving buyers the best deal. They were just sort of running their regular sort of promotions that seemed to be carrying over from Khmer New Year, which is a very common time for property developers to be offering discounts. So we can almost guarantee that buyers will come to that event online and be able to secure some of the best deals they've ever seen. Another thing, just to sort of close out this webinar, Sheng Wei, the Realestate.com.kh marketing manager here, sort of we're pretty excited to bring this event to the market, but we also had a discussion the other night that thousands of people in Cambodia, and indeed the Cambodia real estate industry, have been affected by coronavirus, and whether that's cleaners, construction workers, agents, sales and marketing teams, and more, have really been faced with certain things, whether it's salary reduction, sort of reduced hours, and in the worst case, some job losses, or at least work without pay during this period, depending on which part of the real estate market you're in. So we brainstormed the idea together in the office the other night, and we agreed that also running this sort of Black Friday property sale event needed to have some social impact element to the event. And it's certainly something that Realestate.com.kh has been wanting to add to its business, for the last few years, sort of a social impact element. So it's in its infancy, but Sheng Wei, can you speak to that a little bit about what we're sort of also launching in line with the Black Friday property sale?
Yes, I'm honored to share this like social impact movement, which like comes within the company, because Realestate.com.kh has been the forefront of the industry. Like we collect buyers, developer, agents, and other players in the industry to contribute to real estate industry in Cambodia, and also contribute to the economy in general. But this coronavirus actually impacts millions of lives who works in this industry. So we all depends on the success of the industry. So we want to use this as an opportunity. Of course, this is like the risk because of the coronavirus, because of the quarantine. But we also see this as an opportunity to restore the industry, to restore the economy. And we will reflect on the past, and we want to move on with a better position and a better mindset. So we want to launch this better real estate, better Cambodian movement. And it comes within the company, and it's like a bottom-up approach. And our colleagues, we feel that we want to do something for the company. We want to do something for real estate industry. We want to do something for economy because we are like living organism. We cannot just live by ourselves, especially under this tough time and tough situation. So we want to unite all the forces and players in this industry with all our affiliates and partners to contribute to Cambodian real estate and also contribute to the economy of Cambodia. So we launched this Better Real Estate and Better Cambodia movement because we want to create this social impact and to not only to our shareholders, to the management, to employees, but also to our buyers and customers, affiliates, partners. So we all depend on the success of the industry, and we just want to contribute part of our efforts to make it better and make a real estate in Cambodia better and make Cambodia better.
Yeah, also, I'm really, really excited to work sort of with you and the industry on this. We'll definitely come out with some video content and written content around sort of what exactly that looks like. But I might spend the balance trying to get through some questions. And as I said before, some of the questions will shape our future webinars with other industry leaders. But just trying to get through some of the questions. So for international buyers for housing condominium, can they sell later? Any locals to buy the secondhand condo? So the person's asking if I can sort of rephrase the question. For international buyers, do sort of our industry leaders, Chandy and Ed, sort of believe in the secondhand market in Cambodia in the future if internationals were to invest into a condominium project? Chandy, I might give that question to you.
Okay, I think for the sub-sale for the condo, I think we'll be back soon, and then we will come back soon with the, if we open the flight, like foreign investor will come to see, and then we'll invest more in Cambodia, like you say. As I mentioned before, that if the Cambodia open the flight and then the investor come to see the field, see the grounds, and then they will invest more in Cambodia, because the condo and then the sub-sale of Cambodia, I think, is cheaper than other countries in Southeast Asia. So a lot of investors have been looking for Cambodia. Yeah. And Cambodia now is under grow-ups.
Yeah, I agree. If I can, it's by an anonymous sort of attendee to the webinar, but I might just mute you and sort of contribute to that as well. Certainly in Cambodia, there's the landed property market and a lot of new developments in the landed property market, and then there's the condo developers as well. And what we're seeing is that I think everyone in the industry has been saying it for a long time, that, you know, young Cambodians are going to go into the condo market. They will. And I think we're actually starting to see it sort of more in Q1 2020 than we ever have. We're definitely generating more condo leads from the local market than we have in previous years. And I think that's because the landed property market is getting more sort of further away from the city centre. So I think that really is forcing sort of those first home buyers, Cambodians, to the condo market, and they're starting to realise that, you know, some of the services offered in a condominium sort of development are really sort of somewhat better at times than the landed property market. Also, what's happening to some of the bores is that, you know, the ones that were selling, say, for example, 200,000 2 years ago, you know, have increased a lot in value, and the resale market was definitely there for the bore market. Now, I think it's this way certainly for Cambodians, that if they can get a good priced sort of resale condo they'll definitely look at that as an opportunity, because a lot of the Cambodian condo buyers are first home buyers, and they want to move into it as quickly as possible. So I certainly think there will be certainly a growing market in the second-hand condo market in the years to come, definitely. That's from my point of view. Chandy, I'll go back to you because we have a question for you. That just is it better that we buy property during coronavirus period, or should we wait? And why is that?
For my opinion, I think we should buy now. As I totally agree with you with the condo that now for the land is far away from the CBD already. So the people work in the CBD area, right? So if it stay far away from your workplace, they will change to the condo. I think condo will grow up soon, and then this time I think it is a good time for investment, like I mentioned before. Like you do the Black Friday, maybe they offer the best discount for the investor. So this time is a good time for we don't need to wait. We can choose the good developer, and then we can deal with the best deal. I think can deal with the best deal now. Yes, yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I certainly agree with that. So thanks for that answer. Ed, are you still there, Ed? I might move on from Ed because I will try and get through more of these questions without him, and I'll try and contribute myself. So we've got a question from Joseph. How is the demand for the condominium sales market in Phnom Penh, and are locals buying? Won't the local buying the landed properties? Well, I think Joseph's trying to say, won't the local buyers sort of focus on landed properties rather than the smaller size condos? If I was having a conversation the other day, the Cambodia real estate market in Q1 2020 was showing really positive signs. Certainly our lead flow was, some of the best it's ever been from the local market and the international market. And that was happening amid some other pressures that were coming across the Cambodia real estate industry, like the online gambling ban obviously impacted international buyers, but also policy changes and changes in trade agreements, also impacted the real estate market. But what, Chandy, I don't know if you saw the same thing, but what we saw was condominium developers start to say, like, right, I have to diversify my target market. So condo developers were starting to repackage their products and have more of a local focus. And prior to coronavirus, it was starting to have great effect. I've never seen more Cambodians interested in the condo market than what I have. And obviously then I was quite proud to see some of our developer clients sort of repackage their products, whether it's payment terms and design and so on, for the local market, because that was definitely working. And so, they were pretty nimble in their thinking and started sort of diversifying their target markets. And then coronavirus hit, and then we said, okay, well, what's going to happen now? I think there was a 2-week period where sort of agencies and developers, both landed and condo developers, went into a little bit of a freak out mode, but it started to stabilize because Cambodia wasn't as affected as other countries with cases. And given that the developers had already done the work to somewhat repackage their product to have a bit more of a local focus, they'd done that before coronavirus. So I think it was, so yes, of course, it's any local buyer weighs up, should I buy a landed property or a condo? But we are seeing more Cambodians buy condos than ever before. And I think, Chandy, you would be more experienced in answering this than I am, but we certainly see affluent Cambodians that will have sort of a grand villa sort of outside of the city in one of the Bore developments, but also own condos closer to the city as well. And I don't think that trend is set to stop anytime soon either. Is that correct?
Yes, I agree with you. Yes, I agree with you in this case. Yeah.
So at the end, I'll try and add Ed back in. There's a question for him. Someone said, "Hi, Realestate.com.kh. I saw you have a Black Friday event. I'm interested to book. But on the day itself, can I immediately choose my unit?" Really, really good question. So we're not building the site so someone can necessarily sort of buy and book unit 1001, for example. We're building it in a way that will give, so when a property buyer lands on the page on the day, they would have pre-registered to the event. They'll find a condominium or a landed property or a land investment. They'll click on that. They'll have pretty much sort of 95% of the property details related to that property. So price, sort of sold rates, property descriptions in multiple languages, almost every piece of information that a buyer needs to make a buying decision on the day. But what they're simply doing by paying that $500 reservation fee is they're reserving that price, they're reserving that discount, because we know that people are going to be overseas, or even if people are local, they still might not be that confident going to the developer showroom. So they are buying the unit online, but they're really just reserving that best price. And as we mentioned earlier, that $500 fee is fully refundable. So they'll be given a period of time. The buyers that book on the day will be given a period of time to negotiate exactly which unit they want to buy in that certain development. And that developer, the affiliate, and Realestate.com will work together to help that buyer secure that unit and make sure they get the best price. So they won't be able to immediately choose the unit on the day, but they certainly will be able to start talking to the developer and us and the affiliate almost immediately once they make that booking, so they can choose their preferred unit. I hope that answers your question. Another question, I would like to know on the Black Friday event, what if I made the booking but did not like the unit later on? Will you refund my booking? Yes, so we'll 100% refund everyone's booking on the day if they don't actually follow through and sign the sales and purchase agreement with the developer. Is the Black Friday concept similar to Alibaba and Taobao Singles Day event? Yes, it's very, very similar to those events. What I think's different for us is that we're working with a lot of affiliates and a lot of our real estate agency partners, banks, law firms, media platforms. Some of the biggest media platforms, obviously, JuwaiIQI in China, some of the other big Chinese platforms, some of the biggest English media here in Cambodia in the Khmer Times, for example, and some of the biggest Khmer media as well that you would have seen on our slides before, Sabai for one, and Biz Khmer. We're hoping to get Business Cambodia on board. The guys from Khmer Load are also on board, propertyarea.asia. So I think that's where we differ from the singles event, is that we're trying to work with as many people and companies as possible for this event, because at the core of Realestate.com, one of our values is to provide as many houses to as many people as humanly possible. And we just want to reach as many people as possible through this event. But yes, to answer the question directly, it is very similar to the Alibaba and Taobao Singles Day events. Certainly drawn a lot of inspiration from those events. I think we're almost to the end. We've answered most of the questions. I will try and add Ed back in to answer the question for Ed Ed, if you're listening, the question is there a method for foreigners to purchase land deals or bore houses or landed property, condo excluded? As I'm trying to add Ed back in to answer that question, the Cambodian property law obviously doesn't allow foreigners to own landed property, which I personally think is a great law. I think it protects Cambodians to be able to buy landed property and Cambodian land. However, I won't try and answer the whole question for Ed. I'll try and add him back in. What was the name? Oh yeah, Ed, I'm going to add you back in. Ed, to finish off, I'll just unmute you. Yep. So the question is what sort of vehicles are there available for foreign investors for landed property and land investments in Cambodia?
Oh, finally.
Good to see you as well.
I know, 1 hour later. Yeah. There's some way around it. Of course, by law, foreigner cannot own anything, touch ground or the ground floor or any land. Mm-hmm. But of course, if you're serious about the land investment, there's always a way around it, including applying for Cambodian ID. Yep. And also there's some other ways we can handle. Mm-hmm. Just depends on what kind of property, what kind of budget, and we have different solutions. Yeah.
I think I'll also get Chandy to speak on this as well, what vehicles there are available for foreigners looking to buy land. Because we've seen recently also some real estate trusts launch in Cambodia as well. There's Canna Trust, which I believe is a vehicle to allow and facilitate international investment in more of a legal way, I guess. Chandy, do you have any light on foreign investment for land and landed property?
Yes. So like Edward mentioned a moment, so we have a lot of solution for them. Like they can join venture, like 5149 with a local partner like that, so they can invest in the land and property in Cambodia too. And like they can get the ID like Edward mentioned, and then depend on the fund that they want to invest, like they can ask government for hold the ID in Cambodia and can get more solution. So the depend on the law, so they can choose core partner like 51 and 49, or they use the trust, or they can marry to the local lady and then or the local man, and then they can get the ID, and then they can invest in the property like this. So many way like Evan mentioned.
Yeah. So obviously, I think that speaks to the idea that, and rightly so, Cambodia as a country want to facilitate, foreign direct investment. So certainly it would, I think what you're both saying, that you guys sell land, I don't. But I think what you're saying is like, look, there are vehicles available to those sort of, big investors, because Cambodia should be facilitating foreign direct investment as they are, and rightly so. Obviously, the law's sort of in place to sort of allow Cambodians easier access to the housing market and not sort of increase land prices, to keep them to a point where it'd be out of reach for a lot of locals. But obviously the 5149 arrangement is available and been followed for probably many years, Chandy. obviously having a local Cambodian partner is a way that that previous sort of people have bought land under. But I certainly think this idea of trust will grow, and I think the buying, say, a landed property villa through the vehicle of a trust will allow sort of more of the sort of single home, investors to invest into the landed property market. Would you guys agree with that? Chandy or Ed?
From my point of view, just depends on what kind of investment budget.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a serious investor, you invest over 3 million, 5 million, wouldn't recommend do a JV, or I wouldn't recommend to put on the trust. I would recommend spend some money and effort to get your own Cambodian ID. Due to for kind of trust, we're talking about you need to pay 20% tax, right? Once you sold that property, right? Because we know trust. Yeah, we know the trust only came in last year. It's very, very new things. We have some customer buy under the trust, but they haven't. But they know that reality that they need to pay 20% of tax, right? So you're talking about smaller amount property. Less than 1 million. Hey, go for trust is okay. But if you're talking about 10 million, 5 million, 20% of that tax is a big amount.
Right.
So it depends on how you structure your investment.
All right. Well, I think we got through most of the questions. We'll wind up our first sort of industry leaders webinar. Sheng Wei, is there anything else from your side in relation to the event that you think we might have missed in terms of the Black Friday property sale?
Actually, Tom, I think I'll have one more question.
Sure.
Yeah, from Steph. Yeah. So he has a question for Tom, Edward, and Chandy. What is your outlook or opinion on the real estate market in Slovenia, especially in the condos after the coronavirus situation?
I think, so I might try and find that question. Are you able to repeat that question? Can you repeat that question?
Yes. So Steph has a question for three of you. What's your opinion on the real estate market in Slovenia?
In Sihanoukville.
Yeah, it's especially the condo market after the coronavirus situation.
Yeah. Chandy or Ed, you can lead. I've definitely got a pretty strong view on what I think is going to happen in Sihanoukville. But Chandy, what are your thoughts about the Sihanoukville property market after coronavirus?
I think that after coronavirus and then we open the flight back from China, from other countries, I think Sihanoukville will be recover soon too for the condo market there, right? Because they are now underdeveloped lots, a lot of condo underdeveloped. So I think after coronavirus and then we open the flight, the international flight connects to other country, and then the buyer, the international buyer will come to visit and take all that, because the pricing is still reasonable for them, and then the developer offer a lot of things for them.
Yeah. So you're saying there's some pretty good deals in Sihanoukville at the moment.
Yeah.
And Ed, your thoughts on the Sihanoukville market sort of at the moment and what it looks like post-COVID?
We all know Sihanoukville is quite ugly now. Why? Because they're doing the construction, they're doing a lot of construction, a lot of infrastructure being under construction. So I say by the end of the year, when all the nice road being built, nice condo being built, the international flight being resumed, and everything will be okay. But at least, now everything looks ugly, but give another half year to 1 year, market will be healthier and stronger.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you both. I'm seeing some pretty good deals in Sinukville at the moment for sure. This is my really honest, honest opinion. We Realestate.com, we're not we market properties. We're a marketing company, and we don't monetize through commissions. So we're not closing deals. And this Sinukville property market obviously was booming, right? There was a lot of online gambling activities, and it was, I traveled down there during that time, and there was people everywhere, and the traffic was crazy. It took us 3 hours to get from our hotel, which was a bit out of the center of town, to the middle of town. But it was a mess, right? Like it was really, it was chaos, right? And certainly a lot of international buyers and local people just, were a bit sort of down and sad about what had happened to Sinukville. But I've spoken to a lot of people about this, and I'll probably borrow Ross from Knight Frank's sort of words that he said to me that resonated with me. That it was pretty hard to predict what was going to happen, and it, developers got down there, they started building condos, there was a height of online gambling activity, and it was booming. And I think rightly for the long term, for the long-term vision of Sinukville, the Cambodian government came out with a policy change that disallowed online gambling activities in the country. And all of a sudden we saw a huge flight of people going back to China, and anyone that was involved in those sort of the online gambling activities. And all of a sudden people felt like, well, what's going to happen to Sinukville now? But again, if I can borrow the words from Ross at Knight Frank to make sure I reference properly, he said, yeah, but like there's only so much beachfront land in Cambodia, right? And giving the Cambodian government time to actually put in proper infrastructure, which they're actually currently doing, putting in better roads and giving them time to put in, whether it's, better connectivity with roads and bridges. I think Sinukville will sort of return to somewhat of its former glory, sort of before the height of the online gambling activity, where there was a healthy mix of tourists, condominiums, hotel developments, and resort developments. We've got to remember, again, that there's only so much beachfront land in Cambodia. There's the deep sea port in Cambodia. It's such an important gateway to Cambodia and the neighbouring countries. So, yeah, while it might take some time, I think certainly during coronavirus, there's some great deals to get for investors for condominiums or land down in Sinukville. But it will have a slower recovery, but as the infrastructure is going in, I think local Cambodian tourism and international tourism will return to Sinukville. And I think it'll be sort of a healthier mix of Chinese and other Asian country tourism, local Cambodian tourism, and Western tourism. And I think it will return to a great place to visit and for investment. So yeah, I think it's been managed reasonably well. I don't think anyone, including the government, could have forecasted sort of the height of activity all of a sudden that happened in Sinukville. And I think they made the right policy changes to give themselves time to go in there and be able to build the infrastructure that Sinukville needs to connect to the rest of Cambodia and to neighbouring countries. So I hope that answers Steph's questions. I'm quite passionate about Sinukville, and I really look forward to, I don't know how long that'll be, but I really look forward to returning there, because I think outside of Siem Reap obviously attracts a lot of tourists with its historical sites, and I think we saw Sinukville being sort of one of the, growing to be the second most visited sort of, holiday destinations, and I think it'll return to that. So yeah. Shengwei, is there any more questions, or if we've covered them all?
Yeah, I think that's it. For all the questions, we already answered.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, we encourage anyone watching the Facebook live stream to jump onto the Black Friday property sale website and register at propertysale.realestate.com.kh. We will sort of be releasing more updates as to what properties are on the event. We'll give an indication as to what discounts will be available, but we won't reveal all the discounts until the event actually opens. Again, I'm sorry for any technical difficulties, but that's the life of live streams, as I keep telling my team. Thanks, Shengwei, our marketing manager at Realestate.com.kh, and a huge thanks to both Chandy, Mann from JuwaiIQI Cambodia, and Ed, a dear friend of mine. And thanks so much for helping us with the first English live stream. And Chandy, we're certainly delighted to kick off our relationship with JuwaiIQI Cambodia via this Black Friday property sale, and look forward to doing a lot more work with you as well in the years to come in Cambodia real estate. So thanks everyone for your time, and we'll get out some marketing around the guests that we're going to be bringing on for next week's live stream, which will be at the same time, Friday, 3 o'clock, and we'll try and keep that consistent and bring you more updates in relation to the Cambodia real estate industry and the challenges it faces amid coronavirus. But for now, that's all for the first Industry Leaders live stream. So thank you very much for joining us, and I'll see you all again next week. Cheers.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.